Welcome back to another episode of Sips and Spirits. This is a podcast for those that love spirits of both the alcoholic and spectral kinds. I am your host, Chelsea.
And I'm co-host, Eric. Little disclaimer, we're not historians. Any facts or stories presented are from various sources, and we mean no disrespect if something is not presented 100% accurate. We make no claims that these tales are true. We just found them to be spooky and interesting in their nature.
Yeah. So, we are not mixologists, to add to that disclaimer. Cocktails and spirits are tasted for the first time during the episode recording, unless noted otherwise. See, look, even I mess up on the words sometimes.
It's okay.
So I will add this disclaimer, though, that we have tried the original Crystal Head vodka.
Vodka.
And, yeah, so we're trying the other blends that they offer.
Okay. No blend. Well, one of the other blends, no.
Well, okay, we're trying one of their other blends.
There we
How
go.
about that?
Yeah.
Wow, so picky.
I am.
Okay, so what are we drinking today? We are calling up Honey Spirit from Crystal Head Distillery in St. John's, Newfoundland, aka Canada. We are using their Onyx Crystal Head Agave Vodka to conjure a skull candy cocktail. Ready to toast?
Toast. Cheers.
Cheers. Nicely. Nice.
Delightful.
I like the flavor builds on your tongue.
I taste mostly apple. A little bit of Saint Germain. I don't know what the vodka. We forgot to do shots.
Oh, we did. I'm like, what do we do? Do you even know where the shot glasses are?
I do not. Do we not have shot glasses here?
We have some out in the cabinet.
In the cabinet? Should I go get them?
Yeah.
Technical difficulties.
We interrupt this recording.
And this is why we have post-production added, right?
It's exactly why.
Bloopers. Okay.
So you guys get a live pour today. Do you want me to pour it?
I can pour it. Smells so good. That's for you.
Thank you.
That's for me.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's better if it's chilled?
What, the vodka?
The vodka, yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Cheers.
Not sure. That doesn't taste like vodka. It tastes like tequila.
Yeah.
So, it is an agave vodka. So I was very curious how that would change the flavor.
Let me try yours, because we use different apple juices.
Oh yeah, that's right. So we did Simply Apple in one of the Simply Apple fresh squeezed apple juice in one, and then we used the Honeycrisp Treetop apple juice in another.
Mm-hmm.
Yours, so that's interesting how even the apple juice changes it.
I like them both.
Mm-hmm.
They're very good. Like, first note, I would like to say.
Okay.
I love the fact that I think these are one of our first drinks without, like, ice. So, like, as we getting ourselves set up, it's like it's not melting and watering down. So, that's pretty cool.
Second drink.
Second drink.
Because the last word was without ice, too.
Yes, that was true. So that's one thing that's really good. I like that it's pretty much like, it's not even a spiked apple juice. Like, there's a little to it, kind of thing. But it's, like, refreshing. It's, depending on the apple juice that you have, might taste different. I'm curious if, like, regular, like, treetop apple juice, you know, how it tastes, the clear one.
Well, because it says it wants, like, fresh squeezed apple juice. So you want to avoid like the treetop
Mm-hmm.
cocktails because usually they add a lot of water to it
Oh,
to
that's true.
dilute it.
Yeah.
Unless you found like the cider. That's why I like the Honeycrisp
Mhm.
one because it is like you can tell it's the fresh squeezed
Yeah, more fresh
juice.
squeeze. But different.
Because
It's like
it's not like transparent. It's a little pulpy.
it's a very like what we call a dangerous drink because you can like pound this drink like nothing, and you can have a couple of them. You're like, ooh, after a while, kind of thing. If you're an apple fan, by all means.
Definitely an autumn drink.
Yeah, I was thinking.
And it's like it's perfect for our area where we have really hot autumns. And you want to chill, but you want to enjoy the autumn flavors.
Yeah.
This is nice because I always feel like the autumn flavors, those seasonal flavors, are very like warm on the palate, so you never really feel like refreshed when you're enjoying them. But this is like, it's got that nice like eating a crisp fresh apple.
No, for sure. And when I think of autumn flavors, I usually think of like when I've those ones that I tried, they're usually very like mapley kind of thing, because in maple leaves kind of thing. So an apple ones are definitely a nice twist to it. I can't wait till we go to our local farm when they have the apple.
Oh
ciders.
Yeah, and trying this with their fresh apple cider.
That was gonna be fantastic.
But we need to find out if they actually sell that all year round.
This is amazing. I like it. Definitely good. But that's the beauty of vodka, in my opinion. It's kind of like you can almost do anything with it, and it tastes really good.
Oh yeah, vodka is like the Oh man, I had it and then I lost it.
It's okay, I'll come back.
Yeah, it's gone. But yeah, no, I like that the flavor builds, as I mentioned earlier. Excuse me.
Gives you. Definitely very good. The straight up agave vodka is interesting.
It's good, but it's definitely confusing because it does have that tequila taste to it, you know? But not the burn. Are you hearing that?
Yeah. The buzzing or the vibrating?
Is their battery dying again?
I don't know.
Well, let's keep this show moving along.
Along.
So we don't have to worry about it.
Yep.
Or we have another interruption. It's just going to be one of those episodes.
Yep.
But yeah, it's not bad. I definitely think it would be better chilled.
Yeah, probably.
So I'm curious to try it that way.
Next time.
But yeah, I do like, it's like, it starts off like, oh, not bad. It's a little muted. And then
like,
as it sits on your tongue, it like blossoms.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Definitely
so
a checkout try kind of thing. Like if you think you like, I know vodka, and be like, oh wait, there's an agave vodka, check it out, kind of thing. Something different, something to add to your library of things I've tried.
Right. So I do know this recipe calls for using the original. So we're kind of changing it up by using the Onyx because we really wanted to do the Onyx, but I loved the name of this cocktail being Skull Candy, and it's perfect since this episode is going to be coming out during or right after Day of the Dead. So, yeah. So are you ready to learn a little bit about this fun liquor?
Yes, I am.
All right. So I'm sure a lot of people know, but this liquor was started by Dan Aykroyd and John Alexander in September of 2008. This makes it our first official celebrity liquor that we have tried. That also kind of fits in with the spooky vibe theme. Because I know we did do Terramana in episode 0, but we didn't really taste the tequila straight up in that episode. And this is like actually part of our Spooky Spirit series. It was originally launched in Southern California, and it is now produced on St. John's Island off the Canadian coast in the Netherlands.
I'm trying to think of where it's that geographically. Netherlands are Atlantic Ocean, right?
I don't know. Yeah. I am geographically challenged. You should not be asking me. I just looked up the information.
Got it. Keep going.
All right. I feel like I was going to add something to that.
Who's Dan Aykroyd?
Oh, yes. That's what it was. So Dan Aykroyd, if you don't know, he is one of the creative minds behind Ghostbusters, the original concept creator, which was also kind of his role in Crystal Head. He had the concept, and then John Alexander brought it to life with the idea of the crystal skull. They worked on it together, so the credit is equal. But so John Alexander is actually an American artist who's very famous for his I forgot. I looked it up and now I can't remember. But he does a lot of very famous paintings that are very patriotic based. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So yeah.
Groovy.
So both Dan and John were inspired by a legend of 13 crystals held by American native tribes, including the Navajo, Aztecs, and Maya. Together, these founders designed the skull-shaped bottle as a symbol reflecting the legend's message of life, reflecting power, and enlightenment.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I can dig it.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
So, just if you're against the new agey concepts and thoughts, you're gonna get a lot of that in just a couple in the next few facts.
Okay.
Yeah. So lots of crystal lovers are gonna love this little segment. Or if you have more witchy vibes. So the bottle, that's after this fact.
Okay.
The bottle is produced in Europe, and it's made by taking bits of crystal, actual crystal, and glass, and melting them together to create a crystal clear vessel, so that you can see that the vodka is in fact colorless and transparent.
Transparent. Got it.
Yep. Okay, so Crystal Head has 3 different vodka blends with 5 different bottle appearances. So they all keep the same shape of that crystal skull. And the first original blend has their clear, the clear vodka liquid that is inside the clear bottle. That's called their original blend.
OG.
And if you want to stick to that vodka in particular, if you really like that, you'll find that in their original bottle, the John Alexander bottle, and the Pride bottle. So the John Alexander actually takes one of John Alexander, the founder's paintings, and wraps it around the skull.
I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's like a forest with a skeleton walking.
Maybe not.
It's pretty cool. But it's a limited release and it is very expensive. So that's probably not going to be added to our shelf.
Okay.
The next blend is called Aurora, and it's a blend and a bottle inspired by the Aurora Borealis.
Groovy.
And then you have the Onyx, which is a vodka crafted from blue Weber agave. I'm not sure. I didn't actually look into the agave, different kinds of agave, so I don't know if that's something special. And this blue Weber agave is sourced from Mexico to celebrate the crystal of warriors and power. So they mean the onyx. Onyx is a symbol of warrior power.
Mm-hmm.
Because you see that when they use it in their arrowheads and weaponry. So this bottle acts as a symbol of the human journey and calls upon your creative spirit and positivity. It is a celebration of the warrior crystal with deeper symbolism in intuition, focus, and protection. And another thing that's not in my notes, but I had read about, was they were talking about the darker the onyx, the more powerful a stone it's supposed to be, because black holds all the colors, so it has absorbed all those energies, is essentially what they were saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very new agey.
Yeah.
I like it.
I wanted to give that little warning heads up. And then this is directly, these are exact words from Crystal Head Vodka. I didn't want to change them up at all because I like them. So their tagline essentially is, we do it for all the creative spirits who think differently, to inspire them in their creative pursuits, and to bring out their creativity without compromise.
Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of like their mission for creating these vodkas. So definitely to be enjoyed while you're trying to bring out those creative vibes.
Or when you're ghost busting.
Yeah. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, John.
Thank you. No, it's definitely like I like we said before, we tried the crystal, the regular one before, and we've enjoyed it. As a vodka itself kind of thing.
And vodka, what I was trying to remember earlier, vodka is like a multi-hat kind of liquor.
Yeah.
You can use it in just about any kind of cocktail if you want to be a little bit more classy, have a martini, or you really want to like make an AMF.
You can start the morning with it or end the night with it.
Mm-hmm.
However you
Oh
want
yeah,
to go.
you use it in your Bloody Mary.
I was thinking screwdrivers. I guess it's more like an after.
The screwdriver would be the end of the night.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's some of the many facts which were all found. I didn't have to do a lot of digging at all.
Mm-hmm.
They were all on Crystal Head's website. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which also brings me to where you can find the recipe.
You.
I found the skull candy recipe not under their recipe tab. What happened there? I'm going through puberty. Blech. Okay, this is apparently hitting me harder than I thought. I am...
Like we said, a dangerous drink.
So, it's under their Star Tenders tab, and it's the very last Star Tender on their page. They have a link to the skull candy recipe. Now, if you try to access it on your mobile device, it sends you in a loop. So, just click on the Star Tender's name, and it has the recipe underneath his name. But I will also link it in the show notes to make it easy for you guys, so you don't have to get lost in that loop like I was. Okay, that's it for me.
That's it for you? Groovy. I'm going to add a little thing about before. You can't really see them up here, but I added some decoration cigars. These are Deadwood tobacco cigars, themed with skeletons for like Day of the Dead kind of thing. What?
I said, there we go. You were talking away from the mic.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
It's okay.
They're themed like Day of the Dead. They have calaveras on them. There's 3 different flavors. If you're a cigar aficionado, I would say that these are sweet cigars. They have a sweet taste to them before you start lighting them. So the wrapper has a sweet taste to them. Drew Estate makes them. Drew Estate is definitely one of my top favorite cigar companies. So I discovered some of these and I was like, hey, these are a fun blend and they're great to. They're not that full body, so I would say like medium to low body. And then in the cigar lingo, if you guys are into that, but definitely it adds the whole like Day of the Dead aspect to it. So you want to like celebrate with something themed that way, by all means, go Drew Estate Deadwood.
I feel like I didn't think this through.
Why is
Should
that?
have like decorated it. Day of the Dead, see?
Well, it's hard to get marigold right now.
Well, I have all the fake marigolds.
It's okay.
Next time. Next year.
Next year
we'll wow you guys again. We'll do a Dia de los Muertos special.
Special. Are you ready to answer my would you rather?
All right. Yeah, I'm ready. Hit me.
Okay. So, you have to use one of these.
I have to use one of these. Doesn't sound like a would you rather.
Would you rather contact the dead using a Ouija board or a talking box?
Talking box.
That was a quick response.
I didn't even have to think about it.
Why is that?
Because I think talking boxes are phony.
Talking box. Assuming they're real.
Well, you can't keep adding conditions.
Well, you didn't let me finish.
Because the talking box, you can turn it off if you're really not comfortable. It's not like how you have to open a gateway then close it. I mean, you invite the entity to talk through the talking box, but I just see it differently versus like the whole ritualistic aspect of using a Ouija board. I know it's so dumb, but
I mean, hey,
it's just a board game. I know
if it's real,
it shouldn't be anything, but just there's that chance.
Yeah.
And at least talking boxes don't have an entity connected to it.
Well, it depends on
no Zozos.
Hey, don't say his name. I'll come back out to you.
Well, that's why I won't use the Ouija board.
Which were I like at least from
And then watch, we're gonna end up hearing a story about the entity tied to a talking box.
no, unfortunately.
So I'm screwed either way.
I'll work on that one later.
Oh, okay.
But to me, the idea of a talking box kind of brings me to the idea of like White Noise, the movie
Mm.
kind of thing, where you and in both aspects of a Ouija board and the talking box, you invite something to, you open the door for something, and even if you turn off the talking box, I feel like it can still be like.
Well, yeah, no, it's still there, but then you don't have to hear it.
But do we know you can like?
I don't know. I'm trying to console myself.
Kind of thing.
You're already, because you're so pushing this, it's giving me goosebumps, making me nervous. I don't know. I hate this. And I hate even more that when I get stuck on things, I'm just like, words. I can't even like think of what I'm trying to say. I just go words. And I was like, that is like most uneducated thing you can say. Would be better. Because I'm just hearing like words. I don't know. Because when I see people use the talking boxes, I'm like, you're just randomly going through stations essentially. And the likelihood, there's a pretty good chance you're just happen by chance to hit different stations that are forming a sentence or a grouping of words, that it's just like, oh, come on. I find this very hard to believe. And I just feel like it's so coincidental. And I guess that makes me a really big skeptic. I never thought I was, but
in that aspect of things, I can see that being a skeptic thing. But no,
or I just see the BuzzFeed guys using it and they're not using it right or something.
Well, like didn't Houdini like debunk a bunch of talking boxes?
I think those were after Houdini.
Okay.
When is Winchester gonna open the escape room? I want to go. Sorry, derailing. All right.
Personally, for me though, because like I said, like I mentioned, back to the whole idea of talking boxes made me think of White Noise, and watching it later, it wasn't as of a scary movie. But remember when I first watched it, I watched it and then went to my car and I had a FM transmitter on my car, so when I turned on my car, I had White Noise playing. I was like,
"You mean like we have now?"
Yes.
So this is totally gonna come back and bite me in the butt.
Exactly. Gonna turn it on next time and be like, Rrr. Mostly because I'm more curious of Ouija board, because I the idea of opening and closing doors is kind of like makes it more real.
Didn't like I always feel, and this, I guess this might sound really stereotypical of me, but didn't you like grow up with like your mom totally being against?
Yep.
I never actually had that.
There was a neighbor. There was a house on the street from us who they had kids, but we never played with them. Kind of because like they were like so far away, kind of thing. So they were kind of like they were like one house extra, no, 2 houses extra from like the last house the kids we played with. But that wasn't true because that was on one side, and the other side, like across the street from them, we played with those kids. But nowadays was I don't know what happened with the situation, but we never played with those kids. But when we got older, I think one of them had a class with them, going to school, and we got a conversation on a Ouija board because they had one, and I don't know if we were talking and one of the parents heard us, or they found out that they had one, and like all the parents were like, "No, don't go over there and play that."
That's crazy.
Yeah.
My mom gave me my first tarot deck. I'm like,
well, that's different from a Ouija board.
But is it though? Some people say that's also opening a portal.
That is, but it depends on what you're inviting.
Wow, I heard my voice bounce back to me against the wall, and I'm getting so nervous right now because of the conversation. I'm like, what is your story leading into? You said you wanted me to be more scared during the stories, and I'm already freaking myself out.
Well, unfortunately for you, my would rather doesn't touch with our story at all. But it's a fun story regardless. Are you ready?
Yep, okay. I'm ready. It's hot enough so I don't need like a little security blanket or anything.
La Mala Hora, bad hour. It's said to be a wicked spirit or evil demon that wanders the lonely country roads after midnight and terrorizes those who travel alone. It usually lurks in the darkness at a crossroad, waiting for an unwary traveler to cross its path. According to some, it is more feared than the devil. It first appears in a large black lump, constantly moving and changing shapes. It can also change size, rapidly growing larger and smaller. They say it looks like a ghostly black ball shroud or a large black cotton ball. Maybe like a Furby. Anyone who is unfortunate to set eyes on this demon runs the risk of being driven insane. It tries to hypnotize and paralyze anyone who happens to encounter it at night. When it attacks, it suddenly rushes towards the unwary and envelops them and suffocates them. The following morning, the poor wretched is found dead at the side of the road. Other times, it transforms into a wicked woman, a female personification of evil. She appears wearing black clothing, her hair long and unkempt. She is like spirit or wind floating along without touching the ground with her feet. People in New Mexico say that she seldom appears in human form, but when she does, it is considered to be a death omen. If you encounter her at a crossroad, it usually means that you or somebody you know is going to die. If you try to search more information about this demon, the people in New Mexico will refuse to talk about it and just say, "Esa cosa es mala." It's an evil thing. So here's a little story on.
That wasn't even the story?
Nope, that wasn't even the story yet.
Oh man, I was already. I was like, oh, you're wrapping it up. I thought you said you had 3 pages.
My friend Lupe called me one evening before dinner. She was sobbing as she told me that she and her husband Juan were getting divorced. He had moved out of the house earlier that day and Lupe was distraught. I called my husband, who was on a business trip in Los Angeles, and he agreed that I should go stay with Lupe for a few days to help her during this difficult time. I packed a small suitcase and got right into the car. It was late and it would take me at least 4 hours to drive from my house to Santa Fe. Lupe was expecting me to arrive around midnight. As I traveled down the dark, wet highway, I kept feeling chills as if someone or something were watching me. I kept looking through the rearview mirror and glancing into the back seat. No one was there. Don't be ridiculous, I told myself, wishing fervently that I was home in my bed instead of driving on the dark, raining highway. There was almost no traffic, and I heavily wished that I would soon reach Santa Fe. I turned off the highway just before I reached the city and started down the side roads that led to Isabella's house. Sorry, wrong name. To Lupe's house.
Oh.
I was like, wait a minute. As I approached a small crossroad, I saw a woman step into the street directly in front of my car. I shrieked in fright and slammed on my brakes, praying I would miss her. The car shuddered to a halt, and I looked frantically around for the woman. Then I saw her right beside my window, looking at me. She had a face of a demon, twisted, her eyes glowing red, short pointed teeth. I screamed as she leaped at my window, her clawed hands striking the glass. I put my foot down on the accelerator and the car leaped forward. For a few terrible moments, she ran alongside the car, keeping up, easily and striking at me again and again. Then she fell behind in the rearview mirror. I saw her growing taller and taller until she was as large as a tree. Red lights swirled around her like mist, and she pointed after me, her mouth moving, though I could not make out a word. I jerked my attention back to the road, afraid what might happen to me if my car ran off the street. I made it to Lupe's house in record time and flung myself out of the car, pounding on her door, frantically looking behind me to see if the demon-faced woman had followed me. Lupe came running to the door and led me in. "Shut the door! Shut it!" I cried frantically, bursting past her into the safety of her house. "Sophie, what's wrong?" she asked me, slamming the door shut. She grabbed my hand and led me into the living room. I sank into the couch and started sobbing in fear and a reaction. After several minutes, I managed to gasp out my story. Lupe gasped and said, "Are you sure you were at the crossroad when you saw her?" I nodded, puzzled by her question. "It must have been La Mala Hora," Lupe said, wringing her hands. "The bad hour?" I asked. "This is bad, Sophie. Very bad," Lupe cried. "La Mala Hora only appears at crossroad when someone's going to die." Ordinarily, I would have laughed at such superstition, but the appearance of the demon woman has shaken me. Lupe got me a cup of hot cocoa, brought my luggage in from the car, and sent me to bed. She was so concerned for me that she didn't come. She didn't once mention the divorce or Juan. That night, I could not get any sleep. Every branch touching the house made me jump. Every settlement in the house made me scan the dark room. Every chair with clothes on it made it seem like something was sitting there. I kept telling myself, it's just a pile of clothes and nothing else. For the most part, I was able to convince myself that it was true. Then I heard a car skidding on its brakes, but no crash. The sudden noise had me looking out the window. Then a chair creaked. My eyes scanned the dark room again to find the chair, but the light outside made me need to readjust into the darkness. Then I heard the chair again, this time sliding. My eyes focused on where I thought the sound came from. Black, darkness. Slowly my eyes adjusting to start seeing shapes. There's a chair, and all the clothes piled on it. But the clothes began to grow and grow. That was not a pile of clothes, but something sitting there. They're now standing up, taller and taller. The floor creaked more and more as the shadow grew. Lupe, I tried to whisper, but my throat was dry from fear. My hands clutching onto the sheets, trying to convince myself to hide under there, but still wanting to keep my eyes on whatever was there. It began to turn, its weight shifting, making it louder creaks. Why isn't Lupe hearing this? It's so loud. Steps closer, until it was at the edge of the bed. I scanned up and down to try to see the face. That's when I saw them, those red glowing eyes once again glaring at me. I began sobbing in fear. It slowly began to reach for me, this mouth opening and seeing the sharp teeth from the light of the passing cars. I tried to cover myself to hide under the covers, but I was frozen in fear. My vision started to get blurred the more I cried. I felt his hands just inching away from my head, its mouth hovering over my face, a cold breath against my skin. Something broke in me, and I was able to curl myself and curl into a ball, pass out in fear. The next morning, I awoke in a shock, looking around the room, looking back at a chair. Did it move from last night? Was there clothes on the floor? Was it all a dream or a nightmare? I went to the kitchen and felt calmer seeing Lupe making coffee. It seemed like nothing had happened to her, but I could not shake the feeling of dread that grew within me all day. Neither of us mentioned the Mala Hora, but we were both thinking of her when I told Lupe that I wanted to go home. Lupe insisted on accompanying me. I flatly refused to drive after dark. I was afraid I would see the demon woman a third time when I passed the crossroads. We left that morning, and we hadn't been home more than 20 minutes when the police car pulled into my driveway. I knew at once what it meant, and so did Lupe. The officer spoke very gently to me, but nothing could soften the news. My husband had been mugged on the way back to his hotel after dinner last night. His body had not been found until morning. He had been shot in the head and killed instantly. They said it happened right after midnight.
Oh.
The end.
That just sounds sad.
Sometimes it does.
Yeah. That's very true. What was it when we saw all the plays that your mom took us to?
Corridos?
Was that what it's called? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me think of that. Like, they all ended so sadly. Oh, man. You guys really like it tragic, don't you?
I mean, life's tragic. Things happen.
Would not want to run into that. So moral of the story is don't travel alone. Buddy system?
Buddy system. Also, avoid any and all crossroads.
Why was her husband at a hotel?
He was on business.
Who's Isabella?
Isabella, somebody else. Isabella is my old dog that I had.
I was like, because I was like, oh, maybe Isabella is the woman.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said her name, and I can't even remember. Sophie, yeah.
No, it's I guess I forgot to edit that one out.
And the shadow was growing, like when you said it was growing like a tree. It's like
growing taller and taller like a tree.
It's like becoming. It's like evil enlarged Ant-Man is what I was thinking. Like his laughter, but like really creepy.
Pretty
like,
much, yeah.
Yeah. But like it's getting bigger and following after you. Like there's this account on Instagram that I've been following, and it's just like little like 15-minute clips of like just creepy moments.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally getting me. Like in broad daylight, I was watching one in the pool and I almost dropped my phone in the pool. It made me jump. It made me think of that like moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's really like eerie and creepy, and you can like absolutely visualize it, and you know what's gonna happen, but you still end up jumping. I have so many goosebumps.
You know what I find this is a bit story, and more stories I've been looking through for future episodes is, and we mentioned it earlier, and I think we mentioned in episode 0, how stories relate on similar ideas, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
A woman in white in the middle of nowhere, you know, a shadow figure, you know, like popping down the crossroads, like the whole idea of a crossroads situation, kind of thing. You know, you go to a crossroads to make a deal with the devil.
Right. I was thinking, like, is she, when you talked about the crossroads, I was like, is she like some variant of a crossroads demon? Mm-hmm. But she's not trying to make a deal with you.
Nope. She's trying to take you or somebody else.
I feel like I have heard like something like that's at the crossroads. When you see it, it is an omen of death.
Well,
and not specifically for the person who sees it, but for someone that person knows.
Well, I mentioned to you before, I don't think in recording, but the whole idea of a lady in white. When you see a lady in white, somebody you can know it's gonna pass.
Is that it?
I think so.
I thought it's more like more specifically for cheaters. I don't know. Maybe it's because I've been watching Supernatural.
Now
you either you discover an infidelity or someone who is adultering, like either gets caught or like they die under mysterious circumstances and their affair comes to life. Like I feel like that's always associated with the lady in white.
Kind of like the Carrie Underwood song. With 2 ladies.
Two black Cadillacs.
Two black Cadillacs.
I love that song.
So I'm going to add a little extra story to this.
Bonus.
Bony.
Like a skeleton. That's what I'm thinking.
Talking about the whole idea of lady in white. And I told you the story before. The business that I work at, it's a very interesting building location for the business where I work at. Okay. And we've both been there late at night. And I'm saying like past midnight, like 3 a.m. kind of thing, late at night. And the longer you stay there at night, the more.
Are we talking about where you frequently are, or where things are stored?
Where I frequently are.
Okay. I had to check because they're 2 different buildings.
Yes, they are.
Which you have frequented a lot.
Different experiences, kind of thing. But the one where the building that I work at. I was there one evening. I forgot why I was there, but I know you were there. You weren't somewhere else in the building and whatnot. And I was passing by one of the rooms there, and I knew I was the only person in that building because it was late. It was like
it was well after work hours
kind of thing. I want to say maybe close to midnight kind of thing. And this room has 2 entrance doors and both have a window on them. And I remember passing one of the windows, and out of the corner of my eye, I could swear I saw somebody inside there, and it looked like a lady in white.
Oh no.
Kind of thing. And when I got to the second door and I popped my head in there was nothing. Kind of thing. And I knew, and like I checked the doors, they were locked, and it was like, whew.
This sounds bad of me, but if you like told me what room it was, I'd be like, that could have been a sign for that person who works in that room.
Maybe. Maybe.
I'm just saying, we've had a lot of
unfortunate
affairs.
At
that place of business.
Maybe I know.
So.
No. But anyway, that's a lady in white encounter. I know there's a white orb or a lady in white situation up by 17.
Well, I feel like there's both.
Yeah.
A white orb is different from a lady in white, but they've seen both.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot of variances on white orb experiences. Somewhere it's more just like a will o' the wisp, where it's a guiding light, and somewhere it's like it's a trick. light. So, and I feel like the light on 17, the orb lights on 17 have been
more tricky.
Not the good kind.
Mm-hmm.
They're not will-o'-the-wisps.
Yeah, Lady in White. Most likely we'll visit her again and say hi. And there's one on there.
So, when you were first talking about how it's like a dark shadow that like follows along your car, at the beginning you're introducing it. I'm like trying to keep it together. I was like, this is not good, because I swear, like at night, when even as young as like a kid, there would be a car, or I feel like I'd always see shadows, and you see shape-shifting shadows, but like my family traveled at night a lot because we were coming back from visiting other family, and I swear it was like these shadows that would follow our car, not just like the lights playing tricks.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you still see that every now and then. It freaks me out. And then you're describing it. Now, they have never been like fluffy cloud looking. So I don't know about that, but I have seen like questionable shadows.
When I first read the whole fluffy cloud situation, I threw in the Furby joke just like lighten the little mood a little bit, but it made me think like more like a mist kind of thing, like a misty shadow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
So maybe like the cloud description comes from just mistranslation.
Yeah. Kind of thing. I miss New Mexico. They could speak English there.
Yeah.
But anyway, cool. Ready to wrap this bad boy up?
Yeah. Is it last call? Time for last call. Oh my gosh, this felt like it went fast.
Yeah. Thanks for sipping along with us. We want to keep those spirits flowing, so please be sure to show your support by reviewing and subscribing to our podcast. If you enjoy the show, be sure to share with others.
Yeah. And if you're ever trying to locate us anywhere, you can find us on our website, which is sipsandspirits.com.
And
we are on all podcast hosts that you have and YouTube. You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. We are, and that username is the same everywhere. It's Sips and Spirits. So yeah, come reach out, find us on your preferred platform, and we would love to get the conversation going with you.
Say hi, comment on our stuff and tell us what you think of our show.
Yeah.
Answer our would you rathers.
Oh, we would love to hear. What would you rather do? Are you a talking box or a Ouija board person?
Ouija board kind of thing. We hope to catch you around the bar next time. Cheers.
Cheers.